This is AI Marketing Experts, where bold marketers and next-gen AI collide. Each week, join us as we decode trends, test tools, and share real wins from the AI-powered front lines. No fluff, no hype, just straight talk and smarter marketing. Tap subscribe, and let's geek out on AI.
Welcome back to the AI Marketing Experts podcast. We've got our beautiful panel here. Beautiful men, beautiful women, here to join us, have another deep dive discussion, riff, chat, jam, all the different words that we use for what we do around here in the world of AI. We're all run our own marketing agency, small business owners, and we're here just to kind of dig in and teach you what we do and kind of just share some ideas from the panel and the group. So welcome, everybody. We've got a couple topics on the agenda today. So, Chris, where do you think we should start?
I don't know. I think a lot of the questions that I get from people that I talk with, small business owners, obviously, roofing company owners for the most part, how do I even start incorporating AI into my business besides just having a ChatGPT, thing that's not even trained on you or anything like that? Like, how do I go beyond ChatGPT and really start making it work for my business? I think we should start there.
Yeah, that's a great topic. What have you run into, Brad, in the automotive industry as far as things that you've been asked, like from people at custom shops marketing and America's Best Shops and all that stuff you do? You've got a lot of AI started up. So,
John, I find that so many business owners and just people in general, they hear all the time about AI on the news and what they read and on social media. But the majority of them are just like, I don't even know where to start with this stuff because it can be daunting. And I've mentioned this on the show before, is there's a lot of people out there that are really good at what they do, whether they're roofers or whether they're carpet cleaners or whether they're mechanics. But when it comes to technology, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do it. I'm overwhelmed by it. I'm scared of it, whatever it is. So many of them are just like, I know I need help. I don't know where to turn. And, hopefully that's where we can help them and we can offer tips and advice and strategies. And some of them are going to need to have a paid agency or service, like one of us, do it for them because they're amazing at what they do. But when it comes to technology stuff, they're just not going to be able to grasp it without some hand holding.
Yeah. I think we're talking a little bit before we jumped on here about it's like anything else. I feel that you need to be able to do an audit first, right? So if you want to be more efficient in your time, Dan Martell talks about, write down what you do every single day for 2 weeks, then look at it. What can you delegate, delete, all that kind of stuff. AI is going to be the exact same thing. Like, we have to critically think our way through it. You can aim at creating amazingly cool videos that never go anywhere and spend hours and hours and hours as a business owner geeking out on something. And we've all done it in this room and went, well, that was fun, but absolutely useless. But if you wanted it to be useful, then you need to start with you need to build the list first. Like, what are the things that are happening by me, by my staff, whatever, every single day, and which ones could be enhanced, simplified, semi-automated, whatever, with some form of an AI tool, either just a general in the ChatGPT or any of the millions of tools that now have AI added into them. Is there going to be something where it's not just another distraction, but useful, that you can actually put in place?
So for me, I would say that the biggest things that anyone should be thinking about are money-making activities, right? Everyone's thinking about productivity, and how it can save me time and this and that. But I think that really your money-making activities, attracting clients on the marketing side of things, right? And converting those customers or clients or whatever into sales, right? If you can master those two things, the rest of it is going to kind of fall into place, I think. And that's just me.
Yeah, and I have to say that some of that works together, obviously, because what used to take us a lot of time, such as refining, doing A/B testing on landing pages or funnels, or trying to have that conversation with, okay, what text, what video, et cetera, had to go on to be outreach for new customers or clients. Now it can be the way we can do it with AI and make it more efficient. We can streamline it to get those paying customers sooner. So I think that's too. It may seem like, okay, we're not focused on the money, but yet if we can get our customers to put those landing pages out in a timely manner and ones that actually will convert faster, then it does lead to, great partnerships.
Right, right. Well, I was just going to say, I think that starting simple and having somebody help you integrate it. John was kind of hitting on it when every word he said a minute ago was simplify and the different things. I'm like, oh, yep, that's what I would have just said. But if you think about it, what could a local business do, next week, next month, to get things going? And the first things that come to mind to me is, what if they had something on their website that was maybe an AI chatbot, whatever you want to call it, that could answer questions, could save time, which is in this case going to save money by having the repetitive questions and the different things that people want to know about. What are your hours? Oh, do you have any specials? What are your what's your address? Whatever the case may be, these questions get answered over and over and over. Why not use an AI automation tool or simplified tool to answer those things for them? I mean, and from there it can be AI voice agents, AI receptionists, whatever you want to call it. And we could go down that rabbit hole too. But start simple and save time and money by freeing up the humans to do what's important by not just answering the same stuff over and over.
And if you want to think there's no value to that, go back 20 years ago. So I spent 30 years owning carpet cleaning, maid service, janitorial businesses and stuff like that. And I was in the truck for the first year and a half and said, oh gosh, no, I like this industry. Don't want to be the guy doing it. So I had to learn marketing. So I learned marketing from all the big names in the cleaning industry. And Dan Kennedy had taught some of the guys as well all about consumer awareness messages. So it became a thing in a couple of different industries that were taught by Dan. And so that was a recorded message in your Yellow Page ads and anywhere else, like on the side of your truck. It was the back of our trucks. It was in our Yellow Page ads. It was on our door hangers and flyers and yard signs. Before, don't call any carpet cleaner before you listen to this free consumer information line. And to the point where in the shop, it's still hanging on the wall, completely disconnected. But I bought a big PBX system to just play that consumer message because it worked, because we'd have 20, 30 people a day for our small little carpet cleaning company listening to that. And the reason for that was they wanted to do a self-serve. They wanted to get some information before talking. They had no other way of doing it. So when you could take a guide and put it as an audio recording, and mine was 12 minutes long, and 90% of the people would listen to all 12 minutes. And then they would press 0 at the end and then talk to our gal on the phones. And by that point, they were pre-sold, right? And we weren't selling. We were telling them how to ask the right questions, whether they called us or anybody else. But all of it was positioning them to go, oh, well, these guys know a lot. Obviously, if they're the one telling me, they probably have all of these things they just said in place. AI chat, AI voice that you're talking about, Brad, same thing. It's just that same psychology. So all marketing is psychology and math, right? So it's that same psychology, just now with something that can adjust and dodge in the conversation. Somebody doesn't have to sit there and listen passively. We have an active two-way communication, but with that same intent. Can you answer these questions we always get in a way that leads them to want to talk to the human who can convert them, finalize the conversation, find the right date in the schedule to book where it's not driving here and there, and all those things that sort of AI is not quite really great at yet, but you can bring the human in after they've got the information that has sold them on your business, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, if you think about it too, 20 years ago, most businesses didn't have a website,
right?
Because it was new, and they're like, "What the heck is this? Why would we need that?" And then 10 years ago, it was text messages. And why would we need that? And this is weird, and nobody will use that. And now we look at all these things and they're just commonplace now. And every business, 99% of businesses have a website. A large majority of them use text message to communicate with their clients. So believe it or not, the AI bots and the AI phone receptionists, that's all going to become commonplace too, whether we like it or not. And people just are like, well, why would I need that? Or I don't understand, or I'm afraid of it, or that's crazy. It's coming. It's already here.
Well, and I'll simplify it for any of our listeners or viewers that are watching this. If they say, well, wait a minute, I don't even know what questions there would be. I don't know, have a clue about what kind of common questions I would feed in. Take the time that when you go to your next website or you're making your next phone call, listen to what those questions, what they're asking you. So if you are doing an online chat, follow along and take note as to, wait a minute, would this be helpful with my own business? So sometimes just seeing, kind of like when we first were presenting websites and people are like, I have no idea what I put out online. Once you start seeing how other companies are handling, then it kind of stirs all those thoughts and emotions in of what you could put forth for your own business. So I think that's always a good place to start to get an understanding as to what we're talking about here today about an AI bot or the assistant. And Jen, I think you were going to say something earlier. Sorry, go ahead.
And I think it's already been covered, but I just wanted to make a point, just to point out that Brad, you were talking about chatbots on a website from a real productivity, kind of approach. And Chris, you were saying, implementing AI, like it's followed money, like do it there. And there's things like chatbots are really like the perfect marriage of both of those things. And so to be able to find those things in your business that it's not one or the other, it's actually both. There's a lot of gold there. So,
great. And I'll further say, don't pigeonhole yourself to it just being on the website, right? It being a chatbot or anything like that is hooked up to an AI knowledge base about your business. I would say put it in all of your marketing. Okay. Mm-hmm. I've been coaching my clients to put a QR code on their trucks. Hook that up to a chatbot, right? And that goes to your exact idea, what you were talking about, John, what you did 30 years ago. Do the same idea, just use technology that's now here now, right? Yeah. AI is there. So it's the same idea. Inform your any kind of prospects coming into your world, but drive them to the same type of an employee, if you will, mm-hmm. right? That can sell you, right? Can sell your business. Use it in any kind of direct marketing that you're sending out. Use it, hook it up to your Facebook and your Instagram. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a million possibilities there for that one piece of technology. So,
training becomes the big thing because, garbage in, garbage out. Mm-hmm. If you give it like a lot of chatbots in the world say, oh, just give me your website URL, we'll figure it all out. Is there enough on your website to figure it all out? Does it have your tone of voice? Does it have your brand? We've talked about all that. Or what I just talked to my team about today, we had our EOS town hall this morning, and we were talking, everything we talk about is how are we co-piloting ourselves every single day with an assistant and AI and stuff like that. And I was talking to our account management team and client success coach team. And as I said, so every single time you pick up the phone, it goes through our Carpet Cleaner Lead Pro, and the call is recorded, and there's a transcript. Every single time you jump on a Zoom with a customer, every time I jump on a Zoom with a customer, all of that, we still have those recordings because it's going through a tool. Like they still exist. And have we gotten good at capturing the data so that every single client's conversation is put on a Google Doc tab, right? So it's like, oh, by the way, here's all our meetings, but then here's actual transcript of every single one of those. And then can you take the last month's worth of transcripts? So you could start right now and just say, all I'm going to do right now is capture every single conversation I have. Like everybody's using voice over IP phones. Nobody's on an old rotary dial-up anymore where you don't have to wait for the Laura, the neighbor down the street to get off the phone so you can actually use the phone line. And like those old days, we're way beyond that, right? So we're talking, you've got the data. capture it. So first steps would be get all of those questions people are asking, get all of that data. The more real world intelligent data you can feed the AI, the better you can then ask the question, hey, based on all of this, can you help me train a chatbot that will answer these most common questions? So don't just go look at my website, look at all of this and how we answer the questions. Now you've got a better base, and then police the crap out of it so that if like watch everything it does for the next while. So the implementation would be this, spend a month, collect the data, then so you're pre-planning the build, then build it out, then police it for the next quite a while daily. And then eventually, yeah, oh, this is good now. It's no different than getting reviews responses written for you. You're not just going to go, oh, just write my review responses. I don't care what you say. You're going to read them and put them in draft mode for at least the first, very long time, and finally go, okay, I've got it. Yeah, now it seems to be getting about 99% good. I'll watch it once a week, kind of idea. But so you gotta think your way through the how you want to implement it. But data is going to be your friend.
And I think that we need to, again, say and say and say, it comes down to human touch. It comes down to policing it, like you're saying. And there's the option that they do get to speak to your employees, to your experts on your team. It's just, again, moving these conversations down to, as you said, they get the person calling in has more information, they're more educated. And so when you have that conversation, it is a meaningful conversation, and it's not just starting with some of the basic questions.
Yeah,
exactly right. Well, and what Laura said earlier, you might be listening to the show or you might be watching. I highly recommend that you watch, because we are a good-looking group of people right here, and John would be the most animated of all, I believe. And so, just for that part alone, you want to watch instead of just listen to it on a podcast.
100%. 100%.
So what are some of the other things so we kind of unpacking that a little bit, keeping the human element in it, but understanding, make your list. What are things that you can put in? I like the fastest path to cash. That's always good. So, and you come from the roofing world where you get a roof put on once, and unless you move houses, that should be at least 20 years if it's done right. You know what I mean? I'm from the carpet cleaning world. You're trying to get back into that home 2 or 3 times. Yeah. Right, in a year. And like if you can be the third time in the customer's home in a year or so, you've probably locked them in for life. So there's a goal to kind of get in from the dip your toe in the water, let's get a couple of rooms clean, to let's do the upholstery, you guys are great, to let's do the carpet, the tile, to this, to that. Next thing you know, you're their people, and 20 years later you're cleaning for their kids, right? So it's, for us, it's the client reactivation. It's like, can you put that nurture sequence in place and have, use some AI to help you write the nurture sequence emails based on, the founder's story and happy customer experiences and things like that. So there's ways that you can get cash back from the same customer as well. So not just the marketing on the front end, but the marketing on the back end.
Long-term play.
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
Yep. So what other ideas do we got for sort of building out some of this stuff, just to keep it simple? Like, data dump was one of them. What would be something else somebody could do to build out, whether it's an email sequence or an operations manual, or again, whatever.
So I was talking to y'all earlier before we jumped on, about what I've been working on. And this just recently came onto my radar. Maybe about a week ago. I think I told y'all about it about a week ago. One of our mastermind members had shared that he had built out this really cool thing in a tool called Lindy that is an AI agent builder tool thing, right? Kind of like what you can do inside of Make or Make.com or Zapier. It kind of connects pieces all together. But the cooler part to it all is that it's got AI built into it. And so it's very agentic. Okay. It can do a lot of things and connect to a lot of things. So I started out last weekend really building something. And then I went back to my idea, right? Because that something was really for my operations. And I wanted to have a good idea of what's going on in our CRM and project management tool. Well, I actually hit the brakes on that, right? And that's why I said that earlier. Focus on the money part, right? On what's going to make you money. And so part of what I do, and honestly, what we're doing here too, is podcasting, right? And it's, I get a lot of people that come to me and say, I've watched all your podcast shows. I've, consumed all of your content and so forth. Right. I get a lot of people that come to us like that. And the coolest part about that is that they are pre-positioned for a sale at that point. Right. Kind of like to what you said earlier, they've listened to the content. Right. And so my problem in the past 3 months, 6 months has been, I just don't have time to get new people on my podcast. So my main podcast is a podcast called Roofer Growth Hacks, right? Where I interview people in the industry, in the roofing industry, and kind of get their growth hacks, right? And share those things out. Well, I haven't had a real guest that's come on in a while. So I'm like, I need to do some outreach. Well, I ain't got time for that, man. Right. I'm building cool AI stuff. Right. And I just don't have time for that outreach junk. Right. So I was literally, about to hand it off to my staff for them to do, but guess what? They're busy too. So I got to thinking, I was like, you know what if I use this tool, this agentic tool, to build out a podcast guest outreach program, right? That could automatically go and find people. That it could go and find out more information about that person, put me in the middle of that so I can make a decision on yes or no, whether I want that person on the podcast or not, and then have it outreach, do the initial emails, the stuff that I hate doing, right? Yeah. But needs to be done. That'll do the initial outreach, 2 or 3 emails that go out. And if they do decide to come on, well, guess what? I've got an online scheduler that it can point them towards. Right. Yeah. And they can self-book and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I started building this out, and I wanted to kind of just real briefly, and I'm talking real brief, like 5 minutes, quick bird's eye overview of what I did. Right. And I haven't turned it on yet. Okay. I literally just finished up the pieces to it this morning, and am just kind of going back and forth, but I'm really liking this platform. And I've worked with a couple of other platforms, like N8N is one of the platforms out there. And it's, man, you got to be super geeky for that stuff. And I'm a geek, but man, it's tough. Right. And you could get stuck on one tiny piece for quite a while. And that's
because you're the one that has to connect everything. You have to think through what would come next in the logic chain and. Yeah.
And the bigger piece of Lindy is that it's got an agentic builder that you can chat with built into it, which is super cool. Right.
That is cool. So,
all right, let me share kind of what my process is or was this week. And again, this is just a bird's eye overview of this entire process. I came first into Claude, right? I've been using Claude a little bit more lately. It's super trained on me. It's got my master prompt that I fed it that knows absolutely about everything about me, my goals, who's in my organization, all that kind of stuff, right? It's got all that information. So I just simply, gave it a prompt. Hey, act as an expert in AI automation and build out this thing. And this is my thoughts, right? And, can it actually be done? It said, yes, let's do it. Gave me this prompt. Okay. So I said, let's work on the first agent, and it gave me the plan, by the way, on how it took my vision. Okay. And it gave me the practical output of it, which was the coolest part. Right. And so it gave me agent 1, agent 2, and agent 3, right, to build out here. Okay. And then I said, all right, let's work on the first agent, and just gave it a little bit more information. This is what's in there. Right. So Lindy has these templates, right, that are already built out, but they had one that was really close, and I just wanted it to tweak it, right, for my practical use case. Okay. So using Claude to figure that out was really the key in this. Right. So at the very end, I just said, hey, will you just build me the prompt right? That I can plug into Lindy that'll build all of this, right? So it did. And so, and if you're not familiar with this, it's really not that difficult, not that hard. Most small business owners could probably figure this out, within an afternoon, I think. And this part right here, when you first log in, how can I help? This is the agent builder, right? And you just simply chat to it just like you would with ChatGPT or Claude in my case, right? But I took that prompt and put that in here, and it built me out this one right here. Okay, so you look at the editor, and as you can see over here on the left, this is the agent builder. This is me going back and forth.
Okay.
With this, and so I fed it my prompt that Claude built me, okay, with my vision, and it literally went out and modified everything that I wanted it to. And of course, there's a little bit of back and forth. Hey, I'm actually thinking to do this versus that, and can we also have it do this, right? But ultimately, what it did is it built this tool that when I run it, it goes out and finds prospect guests, right, and adds them to a sheet for me.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the very first step. The second step that I built out is this. I think this is it. No, this is the outreach one. Okay. Let me go back to the Enrich. So the second step of that, right, that Claude helped me with was the enricher. So basically it's just going out and finding more information about that person. Okay.
Gotcha.
And putting that into the Google Sheet. That's literally what this is doing here. Okay.
So if you build the Google Sheet and then and again, the human in the loop, that it builds it, you go down and go, nah, not that guy,
Right.
but oh yeah, this one, you give it the okay.
Right.
And then it goes, cool. Now I'm ready to go enrich.
Right.
Right. So the one agent runs off of the prompt or the acceptance of the human on step one.
Exactly. Right.
Gotcha.
And so you can build all of that logic into it and really have and this is the power of Lindy is have the agent build that in.
Yes.
Right. It's like talking to an employee. It's literally that easy. Okay.
And now you're finding their LinkedIn and their Twitter and all that stuff. So the enricher, now you can say, hey, what are they personally into? Are they into Little League? Do they like fishing? So when you do the outreach, yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
It's putting it in the notes section over here. Okay. And then the third piece, and this is what I'm kind of building currently right now, right, is literally having it do the outreach. So I just had it before we jumped on here, I was going back and forth with it on the emails that I want sent out, and that I would like to approve it before it actually gets sent out and all that kind of stuff. So that's that human in the loop, right? Because if it's, I don't want it sending out a message that I don't approve of, right? Just like a brand new employee you wouldn't want them to do that. I don't want it doing that right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this is what's possible to be built. And I'm solving one issue there. I've got a million freaking ideas now. Okay. That's sitting on my board that I'm going to simply build one step out at a time, because my next one, guess what, is going to be the same idea for this show. Okay. Is to bring guests onto this show, right? We need guests every once in a while, right? We can't just always us be talking and, talking about AI. Let's bring some other experts in. Right. So I'm going to build that out for us, and I've got one other client that has a podcast. I'm going to build it out for him too, because he can totally use this.
I love that, because I like the idea that, so everybody, not everybody, but us in our world, we have used automation builders where at this stage they get the same email, maybe a token changes, puts their name in it or whatever. But, whereas this, you're using AI and your brand voice and your master prompt and your, and even with the human still checking it. But now each one of those emails steps, even in something as you've got, can be very, very, very personalized, because every word of that email is being written based on what it learns about the person and the outreach. So now you've got truly personalized messaging from you and your voice to them and their kind of thing, and it, like, done well, how does that not come across like somebody really spent the time to look into them, learn about them, and send something that doesn't come across like a form letter?
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
the coolest part about it all is that it built itself. I gave it the vision.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And-
weeks. That's weeks of building in N8N.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
I mean,
yeah.
more than weeks for me. Sometimes I got
Yeah.
I got stuck on a ClickUp integration that just I couldn't get it to work, and I just gave up. I was like, all right, I'm done with this. So, anyways,
One quick thing I wanted to point out about this, because I know early on, I got held up by this where I thought, oh, I have one process. I'm going to build an agent to handle this process for me.
Mhm.
And so I just pointing this out because I think that there's lots of small business owners that it might be in the same boat that I was once in. This is 3 agents
Yes.
that are in this process. So it's and that's very common. So don't small business owners, do not think that if you have one process, it's one agent that will handle the whole thing. That's
Right.
It's
That's
unlikely.
really great point.
Yeah.
Because say if this was like we talk a lot about the Dream 100 influencer, so one to many. So in the cleaning world, those are real estate agents, interior designers, maid services, and flooring stores, the core 4 as we call it. And you need to be known by all of those people in the towns that you work in, and and reach out to them, take them out for coffee, stop in, bring their donuts, do the whole thing, and just really befriend yourself. But you need that list first.
Mhm.
And then again, you need to enhance that list with, pinging them on Instagram or Twitter, or liking and following, showing up in their world. Whether that's automated or live, you at least have the list, and then drop them into your, hey, now that I've kind of shown up on their radar a little bit and in their world a little bit, now I can start the email. So now it can be this timed thing as well. So, and again, all of that could then automatically flow when you time them, but they are separate agents. So great point, Jen.
Yeah. And I'll make one other real quick, is that don't try to automate something that's not working yet. Just throwing that out there, right? I've seen that too many times, where if you don't have a process that's fully working without automation, right, that you're doing manually, and you don't know how to really do the process, don't try to automate that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you've already got a series of emails and things that have a tone and a sound and or that kind of thing, then yeah, for sure. Then you just feed those in and say, in this tone, in this style, because it works. But if it doesn't work, or you don't know if it works, you're throwing mud against the wall.
Right.
And a lot of I know a lot of my small business owners, clients, they don't have podcasts at this point. And so for our listeners or watchers, just like, I think, John, you were just talking about it too, is think about how this just this overall system can be adapted to what really works for what you're already doing, or what you can be doing, or all the things. I mean, this doesn't have to be for podcast outreach. It can be for so many things, so many.
Yeah. But again, the fact that this just showed up, like Lindy, like we've been using N8Ns and Make for, it's like forever now, like at least 3 months, maybe 6, like the world of AI, forever, like, a lifetime ago, 6 months ago. And now all of a sudden you got a tool that can build these out. It's for you. What's in 3 months from now? Like, in the far distant future, like by October, what is going to show up? Like, holy crap. Yeah.
Right. Well, and if it seems daunting and overwhelming for somebody watching, just reach out to one of us and we'll help you do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I did tell you guys I wanted to share a quick story, because again, that's all great stuff, and that gets deep. If somebody else is on this going, okay, that's all cool, I'm just starting to get to use it. I've had I've had ChatGPT help me cook my dinner once, because you guys suggested that at one point or whatever. I'll tell you a cool little story I was telling the guys before we started yesterday. So we all know, if you've ever been locked out of an account, we all know that this whole idea of two-factor authentication and authenticator apps and codes and who set up the account and who got moved to where. Well, we're in this business, we do this, and I got locked out of our Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters Instagram account. It was originally set up maybe 5 years ago by one of our former employees. So it was asking me for the very first time. I was trying to log in on my phone. It's always been on my phone. I can switch between my personal and the business. And it just said, oh, go to your authenticator app, but we need the code. I'm going, I don't have authenticator. I don't have a code for this. And then it's okay. Well, the backup option is one of your one-time codes you would have downloaded. Nope, that wasn't me. And by the way, our business owns the Instagram now. So it was added into our Facebook business manager. So that's the owner of it now. So the original person's out of the loop. So normally, as I said, that would have been throw the phone against the wall, be disgusted with the entire business I've chosen to be in, and walk away for the weekend and maybe come back after Labor Day and start all over again, and be pissed the whole time. Or went to ChatGPT and said, dude, need help, can't figure this out. Okay, we can solve this, and it started having a conversation with me is there anybody logged in right now? Whatever, try that. And turned out there was one of my VAs that does some social stuff had been logged in to that account on her phone. She got a ping. So we had to wait till she woke up and I said to Natalie, do not log out. Whatever you do not ping me as soon as you get this message. I need to get back in. Chat's got an idea. So, and it turned out all we needed to do was get back in on my phone. So allow her to okay my device to get in. And once I got in, now go to the settings, and and the first thing it suggested was wrong. Like that setting was missing. So I went from my computer onto my phone, opened up my ChatGPT app on the phone, same login. So now I'm just carrying on the same conversation, took a screenshot and said, I don't see what you're telling me. Oh, okay. They've updated the thing. Click this one instead. Okay, back onto the computer again. I'm showing, and so it literally just transferring back and forth, and got me to set up my own two-factor authentication first, then kick out the other person. Then it said, while you're at it, security, check how many people are actually logged in right now. Found a bunch of people I didn't even know, that it could have been old phones. But kick them all out. It's like, holy crap, I didn't even know that existed there. And yeah, within about 10 to 15 minutes, completely solved the problem. Back in, own the account, locked down, super tight. It gave it, like as it always does, a couple other suggestions. Would you like to try this? Would you like to do that? Some of them made sense. Yeah, absolutely. And without the frustration, had AI help solve a tech problem that you would never have found those buttons 3 layers deep. You would have watched hours of YouTube videos, scoured the internet, and maybe found your way through it, at 3 o'clock in the morning on 20 coffees. Or 15 minutes later with ChatGPT, solve a serious tech problem. So that was my
AI tip of the day.
There you go. So
Yes.
with that, is anybody got any famous last words? I think we're getting near the top of the hour. So
I think we covered a lot of good stuff, honestly.
Yeah. Cool. So if you are watching this on YouTube, like, follow, subscribe, as we say. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever, make sure you follow us. Send comments in all those places. Tell us what you think. Give us some suggestions, ideas. What do you want to learn more of? What do you want to hear more of? We love that. We had some user feedback that we talked about before we jumped on to kind of help guide where we're going and where we're taking this for the people that are watching. So share it with any buddies that you got that are in the business world and kind of want to see where they're at and leaning into this new emerging world that is super fast in front of us. And just keep tuning in, and we love having you join the show. Take care, everybody.